John Surtees wanted the frames, and John Cooper, Mini Cooper man, he wanted the engines to go, Manx engines to go into his little race cars.
I don't know, Dave. I reckon you should have been all right. Yeah. Right, hello everybody. We're back at Boldore. I was due to come back and pick up my Triumph, but it's absolutely lashing it down again. So we've given up on that. But we were going to come and do something else, and I'll spin you around and I'll tell you what we're going to do. And I'll introduce you back to Dave, because you know Dave really well. Say hello, Dave.
Oh, right, how you going? Yeah, back again.
Yeah. So we're in the freezing cold again. But what we're going to look at, which we said we were going to do, was look at this, and a little history of Triton, the Triton, because I've always been confused about the Triton, that it was a specific maker bike, but it's not. But it's not, is it? It's got an interest. So what is the actual story of history? Triton,
I think what it was years ago, someone obviously had a Norton or some sort of Manx Norton or something, blew the engine up, and it was cheaper to put a Triumph engine in it, so they started racing them as that.
Yeah.
And they just called them a Triton, just a Triumph engine and a Norton frame.
Yeah.
But there's no such make as a Triton as such. It's just a made up thing. It's basically like a Rickman Matisse. It's a mongrel in effect.
Yeah. So there was nobody manufacturing Tritons, was there? If you had a Triumph, a Norton frame and a Triumph engine stuck them together, you just called it a Triton.
It's a Triton, yeah.
Yeah. Is there a classic, a sort of like a classic version of the Triton though? They would think, well,
they're all
the best combo.
They're all classic, but there's no such thing as an original Triton.
No.
Because every Triton is different. I doubt if you'll ever find two Tritons identical in every respect. Everyone's got their own ideas of what brakes it should have on, what mud guards, what tank, what bars, what seat, and every Triton is different. But basically, it's a featherbed frame with a Triumph engine in it. You can put a 500 engine, a 650, a 750, pre-unit, unit. There's two types of featherbed frame. There's a wide line, which is this one.
Yeah, because that's very unique, isn't it, the featherbed? So what was the key thing about the featherbed? What made it so special?
It was just the handling of it. It's a really rigid frame, so it used to handle really well. And I think there's a guy in the 50s or 60s, he turned around and he said, the ride on it is so nice, it's like being in a featherbed frame.
Yeah.
You know, feather bed, so they started calling it a featherbed frame. Some people prefer the wide line.
Yeah.
A lot of people prefer the slim line. The slim line is tapered in slightly, so your knees weren't sticking out the side. It used to tuck right underneath, back underneath there.
So it's just pretty much referring to the width of the frame.
Yeah.
This is quite recognisable, isn't it? That curve.
That's it. Yeah.
In a frame, it's really recognisable.
Yeah. This one, the Manx frame, was almost identical, but it used to come up and then cut across that way more.
Yeah.
And that's the ones that had the 350 and 500 Manx engines. But the later road-going ones, I don't know why they made them that much wider, probably to get oil tanks and stuff in. But the first ones all had this wide line frame, and then the next lot was tucked in an inch or so to keep your knees in more.
Yeah.
A lot of the featherbed, a lot of the Triton people say that the wide line frame is the best one, but I've ridden them both and I couldn't tell you the difference.
No. So what was the sort of popular configuration? Was it to make it like were they sort of really more of a race type bike? Tritons were more associated with racing than anything else? Yeah,
basically. Everyone wanted a cafe racer, and the bike to have, everyone said the Triumph engine was the best engine, the Nortons had the best frame and forks. Yeah. So everyone wanted to build a Triton. This one is actually registered as a Triton, which is unusual. Most of them are registered as Nortons with a Triumph engine put in. Yeah, because
the registration of any bike, or if you like the heart of any bike, is not really the engine, it's the frame, isn't it? For registration purposes, isn't it?
Well, it is the chassis, which is the bike.
Yeah.
Whatever engine you put in it, I mean, you could put a Tiger Cub engine if you was daft enough.
Yeah. So so that's the unusual thing. So this bike, this bike specifically is registered as a Triton.
Yeah, in 1969, registered as a Triton. Yeah.
So would this bike have been someone would have got that frame from Norton at the time, just bought a frame. Could you just buy frames then at the time?
In the 60s, yeah, you could do. You could buy virtually anything in the 60s. You buy a brand new, I bought a brand new featherbed frame from Gus Carnes. I think it was 46 quid.
Really? And when was that? How long ago was that?
Oh, Jesus, Effred, 1967.
Yeah.
And I built one up. It cost £500 to build the whole thing up.
Yeah.
But when I went to register it, because it had no frame number, being a brand new frame, all I had to do with the DVLA when I was at Surbiton was prove that it was brand new, which I could with a receipt from Gus Kahn.
Yeah.
And they said, well, it's got to have a frame number. So I was like, well, what do I put on it? And they said, put what you like on it, but whatever you put on it stays on it. So I said, well, can I put my initials on it and my date of birth? They said, yeah, if you want. So I stamped DJY 1947 on it. And they said, well, that's got to stay on there now. So in the logbook, someone's got an F-Reg Triton.
So that's out there somewhere.
With DJY 1947 on it. The best ones, or the most popular ones, the pre-unit, which is this one, with a Triumph box or Norton box. This one's got a Dominator 4-speed gearbox. It's a Thunderbird engine with a 9-stud Bonneville top end on it.
So how old is this engine then? Is it this is a commensurate with the date of the frame? Do you think?
It's quite an early one. It's a looking at that. It's probably a 50s crankcases.
Yeah. And
it's a 63 onwards cylinder head and rocker boxes.
Yeah.
Virtually all the Triumph parts are all interchangeable from the Thunderbird, Tiger 110, TR6.
I mean, they're absolute works of art, aren't they, when you look at them?
Yeah.
It's no wonder people put them in their offices and in their front rooms, because they are works of art.
Yeah, this one should be put up on a wall somewhere. It's probably one of the best Tritons I've ever seen. I mean, the guy that used to build most of these and was good at it was Dave Deegans in Putney. He used to make some really nice Tritons. Yeah. But I should think even he'd be quite happy with this one.
I mean, attention to detail is so this was a complete restoration, wasn't it?
Yeah.
When was this restored? Do you know when this was done?
It was just recently finished in the last year or so. But the guy who's got it was in his 80s.
Yeah.
He's but basically unable to ride it, so he's never ridden the thing. That's the biggest. No,
so it's probably never really been ridden at all.
Point two. We started. We had it out the front here a couple of months back, and we started up. It started up second kick, which is unusual for me at my age trying to start the things.
I love the. I've always liked tank
it's all
straps.
quick.
It's
all quick release. Just flip that.
Yeah.
That will come up. And that just flips up. Tank comes off.
So that's really gives it sort of racing heritage. That's what they were all doing, isn't it?
Yeah, everything's quick release on race bikes.
And that's Ali as well, isn't it?
Yeah, he's had that specially made. But everything is either polished Ali, stainless.
Yeah.
But he's even gone to the details. Even the little nuts and bolts and washers on the back of the speedo are chromed. Yeah. He's got stainless bolts.
Yeah. The thing I always love about it's something I always want to knock off tape. But these types of brakes with the vents at the front.
That's it. The early.
It looks so cool.
The early Commandos.
Down there as well,
that's it. Yeah. The air goes in there and out the back of here.
Yeah.
But the twin leading shoe. This is the one they put on the later Dominators and Commandos.
Yeah.
But they were in the 60s. These were the best frame and forks to get.
Yeah. Because how long did the featherbed frame go on for?
Oh, blimey.
Quite a long time, isn't it?
Right up to about 1968, and then you got the isoelastic Commando frames after that. But a lot of these bikes were taken apart years ago. John Cooper and John Surtees. I think it's John Surtees. John Surtees wanted the frames, and John Cooper, Mini Cooper man, he wanted the engines to go, Manx engines to go into his little race cars.
Oh yeah.
So between John Cooper and John Surtees, one wanted the frame and the chassis, the rolling chassis, and one wanted the engines. So the Cooper race cars all had Manx Norton engines in.
Oh really?
Yeah, that's where that's coming from. Yeah.
Cool.
They wanted the 500 Manx engine for the Cooper race cars.
It's absolutely stunning, it. So this is obviously for sale in here. You're selling it on their behalf.
I mean, I've seen these,
but it doesn't seem like a lot of money to me.
It's not. If you have a look round, something built to this sort of standard is like £18,000-19,000.
You couldn't build this for that. No, you can't get even the sum of its parts are worth a lot more than that now.
If you broke it up for parts and see what it costs individually.
Yeah.
I mean, tanks like this, they go up to £1,000 for a tank. You know, a front wheel like that is probably £500 or £600. If you're lucky. So there's £1,000 with the wheels on it.
Yeah.
You know, to build an engine.
Presumably these tanks they're all handmade, aren't they?
Yeah, handmade aluminium. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
the forming and move. That's just to work. I think it's just to work.
This is the one that a lot of people prefer, but a lot of them want the Manx tank, which is the big hump one. But
okay.
But these are the nicest one. They used to call them Lita, Lyta.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And that's the most popular one.
I mean, it's like buying a new bike, isn't it?
Well, it is basically a brand new bike.
I mean, it's never going to. Say it's never going to depreciate, but this is up for what, 11,995?
11,950, yeah.
That's to me, when you look, there's not a single bit on this bike which isn't perfect. It's just absolutely perfection, isn't it?
Yeah. But there's no two Tritons identical, and everyone's got their own idea of what you should have. I mean, this one's got a Norton gearbox. Yeah. Most of the Tritons were just a complete unit taken out of a Triumph, so it would be a Triumph gearbox, Triumph chain case, Triumph engine, and this one's a Triumph engine, Norton gearbox and chain case, so you can swap stuff around to suit yourself.
Presumably then, being a Norton frame with a Triumph engine, was the frame had to be adapted to accept the Triumph?
No,
they all fitted.
Just made special engine plates so that the mountings were in different places.
Yeah. I mean, it's what I always love about this stuff. It's even just the moulding of the carburetors and all the rest of it. It's just, I mean, this is cast, isn't it? This is all cast.
Yeah, they're Amel. They used to do these ones as monoblocks. All the early ones up to about 1968 had monoblock carbs. Then they went over to concentrics. Don't know whether it was to make them cheap or because they run better.
Yeah, I always found it interesting that because they did that on, it was the same as race cars, wasn't it? Grand Prix cars at the time, you just had the trumpets on, or the inlets.
Yeah.
But I always thought, any muck, that's not going to stop anything, is it?
It's to stop people putting stones in it, I think.
You could just, but any sort of dust, fluff, muck could get in there and block your jet, couldn't it?
Yeah, but if you put an air cleaner on anything, you'll lose a few horsepower.
Yeah, you want that free flowing air, don't you? Yeah.
And there was a time when they used to say, that, I don't know whether it's still true, from the centre of your valve to the centre of your main jet used to be 8 inches for maximum power.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah, but whether that's true or not. But if you have a look at race cars, all these bell mouths are all tuned for different. You want the power down low, or you want the power up high, or you want it mid-range, and they're all tuned individually for each track.
Yeah.
I mean, on the road you don't need to do it, but when they're racing, I mean, everything's down to the last half horsepower, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. So the oil feed on this isn't an oil-in frame, is it?
No.
That's the oil tank.
That's the oil tank, and the oil dry sump. There's a pump in here. That's just a breather. You've got a little pump in there that pumps it round up through the crankcases. That's the return, goes to the rocker feed.
Yeah.
That oil's there, and then back into the tank through there. So it feeds in that one and back up through there. That goes back into the tank, and then that one goes up to the rocker feed.
Why did we go from? What was the idea then when we went into? I mean, I always just only really know about oil in the sump.
Yeah.
Which on modern bikes, isn't it?
Yeah.
Was this sort of like the thinking of the time? Then you didn't. Nobody had thought to put the oil in the sump, and it just circulated.
Some bikes used to have the oil in the sump, but I mean, Royal Enfields used to have the oil there. They never had but they had a separate sump inside the engine.
Yeah.
But race cars, I'm pretty sure race cars have dry sumps, but all modern bikes and cars have wet sumps.
It stops it sloshing around, doesn't it? And they'll baffle the sumps as well, aren't they?
I think it's easier to get your pressure in the crankcases if you've got a dry sump. As soon as you've got oil in there, obviously the oil going around is going to cause pressure in there and get oil leaks.
So what size engine is this again?
That's 650.
650, and what sort of do you know what the output of that is?
This particular one, it's up to Bonneville spec, so it's probably about 46, 47 horsepower.
Which doesn't sound a lot even for the time, does it? Is that not a lot for the time?
Most Tritons...
Although it's probably not that heavy a bike, is it?
No, they're quite light. They're nothing like...
Because it's a lot of alley on here, and there's a lot of aluminium on it.
Yeah, hell of a lot, yeah.
You don't want a lot of back pressure in your old tank,
that's a quick release.
Not a critical moment.
No, that's a quick release.
Yeah.
you're all just into there. But if that flipped up when you was going on,
you'd know about it, wouldn't you? Yeah.
Keep your bits warm.
Sing another couple of octaves higher, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Everyone had their different ideas of what the exhaust should look like. Everyone said that.
Yeah, because that's quite a long way back, isn't it? That
yeah, reverse megaphones. Some people put Thruxton silencers on them. Some put standard Triumph silencers on them. So every Triton is different in one way or another.
Yeah.
You know, you could have a different backlight, different tank, different seat, different exhaust. Most Tritons had swept back pipes used to come out and come back down to there.
Yeah.
But,
yeah, I just realised when you look how far back the peg is, obviously it's, you know, you because what they be called clip-ons then? They are
yeah, clip-ons, yeah.
aren't they? So that really is a lean forward stance.
Yeah, when I was a teenager, a long time ago, I had the clip-ons down on the bottom yoke. If I'd done that now, I'd have to get a crane to lift me off, because I don't know where I'll be able to do it now.
Well, yeah, it would after about an hour, wouldn't you?
About 10 minutes.
You'd just fall over, wouldn't you? You need to stabilise on this when you stop.
When you see how far forward these things are.
Yeah,
I mean, even now,
Dave, and then you can see what it's like.
These things now, to struggle on these things now. I mean, when I'm on that now, I couldn't ride that for more than 10 minutes. Whereas when you're saying that, I used to be down there like that.
Right.
But
when you see you on that bike, it just takes you straight back. All you need is like a leather helmet and some goggles, and you're there. Aren't you? But that's a real.
Yeah, that's
only built for one purpose, isn't it? That's it's just to scream as fast as you can around the country roads.
Didn't have so much fairings in, so you kept down there as low as you could to keep the wind off you.
No.
Anyone in their 60s and 70s was the bikes that they always wanted. A Triton was the bike to have.
Was there anybody actually, you know, making these out sort of semi-commercially? That was maybe
Dresden Autos.
They were doing it. They were making Tritons. They specialised in.
He actually built one for a 24-hour race, and it came first.
Really?
When you think everyone says, "Oh, they won't do it," when you can race one for 24 hours and win it.
Yeah.
But he put it together specifically not for power to last 24 hours. He didn't do it to be the fastest bike out there. You don't always win by having the fastest thing. You want the most reliable. He built a bike.
It's got enough power,
that
but
didn't have tons of horsepower, but was reliable and would just keep going.
Yeah.
I mean, would you imagine doing one of those flat out for 24 hours and saying you're going to make the end of the race?
That's the thing. How would you would be peeled off it, wouldn't you? You wouldn't.
Well, yeah.
You wouldn't be able to stand there for 24 hours. Yeah, hats off people who can sit on that for 24 hours. The other thing with this, I suppose, though, you can still get all the parts for this.
I can get virtually.
There's nothing you can't get, is there really?
You can't get brand new frames, but
no.
there are people that make replicas.
Yeah.
But they're, you're talking about four numbers. But yeah, you can get virtually every single thing for that.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to build one now, you could.
You could, didn't you? You
could
still make a Triton,
you could build it how you want.
Yeah. But the key with these, it was only the feather bed frame that was used in the Triton, wasn't it?
Yeah, feather bed frame, and nearly every one was a 650 engine.
Yeah.
But
could you buy the engine? Could you go to Triumph at that point and go? Can I just have one of your engines?
You could in the 60s, but you can't. You couldn't later on. They stopped doing it. You could go and buy every single part for that individually. You could do basically now, I suppose. There's still people making replica ones, if you like, but it costs you a fortune to do it.
Yeah. Every time I come in, I look at this and I think, I'll just sell all my bikes and I'll just put this in my office. Yeah. I did say to my missus the other day, I said, you could get that Triton in the office. I'd have to sell a lot of bikes.
I expect there's a fean people got them. They probably they get older, they just don't ride them, polish them up, put them in the shed and say, that's what I had 60 years ago.
I
mean, they're not too bad to start, but as you get older, even I struggle now. That's why I put electric start on everything. No, if you want to try it, and just buy one. But
I can't see where you could get one for that money.
No, I can't.
You're essentially buying a brand new bike, as far as I can see.
That's crazy, yeah.
Right, so before we pack up, we're going to have a quick... So, there's my said bike. So I will get to pick this up at some point. But I know we said, we could put it in the van and take it home, but I'm so desperate to actually ride the darn thing back, which we will do eventually. But there is a slight... You have got a slight... You can't really see much of it, but there's a slight update on the Speed Twin, isn't there? So you've now got the pistons out. You managed to get the pistons out of the head.
Yeah, eventually. We had to cut the crowns off the top with the tank cutter.
It was that bad, wasn't it?
The pistons have rusted solid to the bores. Yeah. But now got to rebore. Les Harris set of pistons for it.
Yeah. So it is wearing. I think it's great. I know, you know, you can't spend too much time on this at the moment, but yeah. So you've had those.
That's a brand new one.
So you've had it rebored. The old one. I don't know, Dave. I reckon it should have been all right. Yeah.
There's the crown. We had to.
That's amazing, isn't it?
Cut the top off to get the rings out. They've rusted solid to the.
It's one of those bits you keep, innit? You keep to go with the bike.
Just say.
That's it.
They're 76 years old, and that's as far as they got. Still got the circlip in that one. But we managed to get some really nice low compression 7-to-1s.
And again, this is the thing. You can get. There's nothing you can't get made, is there?
When you think it's 75 years old and they're still making pistons for them.
Yeah. That's quite weighted, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know why I thought they'd be.
That one's quite light.
Yeah. Yeah. It's got much going in it.
But
so we've got the pistons. You've got it's been rebored.
I've taken the cranks. There's the crankcases. And and the crankshaft.
Yeah.
That's the advanced retard for it.
Yeah. See.
And there's the.
Oh, so you got the magneto.
Magneto's all been
redone.
Redone. And the dynamo. That's all got new armature stuff in it. Fantastic. So they can go back on.
That looks great, isn't it? And that's where did you send that? Was that sort of
specialist?
I've got
a friend in Horsham, Broadwood Chief. He just restored a bit of advertising for Steve the Mag.
Steve. So who is he? Steve the Mag.
He's Steve. His name's Steve, but everyone calls him Steve the Mag. He's got all the equipment for restoring.
But that's great, though, isn't it? And that's local as well.
Yeah, it's not far from here.
Around the corner, isn't it?
And he's brilliant. Yeah.
And then the other thing is, you just picked up these exhausts for it.
Yeah. I managed to get hold of it.
Because obviously the old exhausts were a little bit.
Past
carrying, weren't they? There's not much you could have done with them. Downpipes.
Yeah, that's the.
Yeah. But they exist at the end of the day.
And I managed to get hold of a.
So. Someone had these in their shed or something.
Yeah, managed to get them off of eBay, believe it or not.
Absolutely amazing, isn't it? That this stuff is out there somewhere. Yeah, and when you're looking for it, it suddenly appears.
They'll bolt on there somewhere.
Yeah, and they are proper Triumph commensurate. They're not ring pros, are they? They're proper Triumph.
They're proper ones, 5T, 6T, the same.
Yeah.
They're the same exhaust.
Yeah.
And they're.
Incredible, absolutely incredible.
Try and keep it as original as I can.
But the thing is, because it's original, you know it's going to fit.
Yeah.
There's no frigging about with it. You know it's going to fit when you go back on there.
But yeah, you can still get loads of these parts. But that was because that's the first year. 49 was the first year. Then the cell came out.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And then the tank. You say you're going to get some air put into that and then try and blow it out, or what were you going to try and do with that?
Yeah, I've got to. Either have to take the bottom out and get it knocked out. I'd prefer if I keep the original tank.
Yeah.
Even if it has to look a bit scruffy, at least it'll be the original.
Doesn't matter, does it? Yeah.
There's all the rest of the bits
there. As long as it functions, yeah. Fantastic. Right. Well, we shall watch with interest, and we continue to watch with interest.
Yeah, hopefully I'll have it running in a couple of weeks' time. Just wait for the barrels. The rebore should be done next week sometime.
Yeah.
Get that back. We've put new brake shoes in it.
Yeah.
Got that through. I had to put another tyre on it another Avon tyre on it because the one that was on here, where it had been standing,
yeah,
and that won't come out. That's
a bit crusty, isn't it?
To
say the least. But that's the other thing is that again, all this stuff is still available. You can just buy it.
Well, yeah.
Is it expensive? Is stuff like that expensive?
Avon tyres, yeah, because they've shut down over there in France now. But I think a front tyre now is about 120 quid.
It's still not bad though, is it? Because it's a limited market, isn't it?
Well, yeah, I can buy 2 tyres for that for my car for that.
Well, yeah, there is that.
You're not going to
go to Black Circle and get them.
Bike tyres are expensive, but
yeah,
back one, believe it or not, isn't too bad. I don't know, it's not even cracked, which is amazing.
It's like anything, it's how it's stored in the environment. Yeah. Is it damp, cold, dry, whatever, isn't it? So it turns over like that, doesn't it?
Yes, no compression.
But you think the gearbox is okay?
Yeah, it's got this little tiny selector when you change the gears. neutral.
Nice. It sounds all right, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So far, yeah. Why shouldn't it work at the end of the day?
Probably just wants all the muck washing off of it.
Well, thanks for the potted history on the Triton, and it's something I want to look at. And we're when we get some more time, we'll do another one. I'm always interested in the Laverda, and because that's got a Triumph engine in it. Well, it's interesting, isn't it?
That's called a triada.
A Triumph. Latruda.
Yeah, that's got a unit construction Bonneville engine in it.
Yeah, so that might be an interesting.
Yeah, the Laverda's 650 engines weren't the most reliable or easiest to work on.
No. Cool. Right, thanks for that, Dave.
That's
Say
right,
goodbye to
pleasure,
everybody.
Paul. Bye again.
And we'll see you in the next video. Take care, everybody. See you soon.